Okay, good evening. We are continuing with the Zera Shimshon. Again, Rabbi Shimshon Haim Nachmani from Italy, that we have these major zechut to learn his Torah, and B'ezrat Hashem, as we mention every time, to have his promises, his blessings that we've all spoken about. We'll share an interesting story, B'ezrat Hashem, at the end, that's brought down in the Sefer. Starting with this week's Parashat, right at the beginning of this week's Parashat, can I get a Chumash? Right there. Okay, that's good too. That's good. Right at the beginning of this week's Parashat, thank you very much. Third Parashat of this week's Torah, of our Torah. Vayomer Hashem el Avram. God tells Abraham, Lech Lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladecha u'mibet avicha el haaretz asher ar'eka. Leave your homeland. We're not going. The Zera Shimshon doesn't speak about that first pasuk, so we won't get into it now. Leave your homeland, leave your comfort, leave your city, leave your father's family, leave everything, and go to where I'm going to tell you to go to. Okay. Ve'escha legoy gadol. I'll make you to a mighty grand nation. Va'varechecha, you'll be blessed. Va'gadel Hashemecha, and your name will be famous and big. V'yeh beracha, and you're going to be blessed. Next pasuk, third pasuk. Va'varechecha mevarechecha. Those who bless you will be blessed. Umkalelecha aor, and those who curse you will be cursed. V'nivrechu becha kol mishpechot ha'adama. All those who come to you, all those who are around you, who are good with you, they will also be successful and blessed. The Zera Shimshon asks a very nice question. He says, what's the reason for the proximity in V'yeh beracha, the end of the second pasuk, that you will be blessed, and the beginning of the third pasuk, which says, Va'varechecha mivarechecha. Va'varecha mivarechecha. That those that bless you will be blessed. He says, why is the end of the second pasuk have to tell us that you will be blessed, and then right away those who bless you will be blessed? He's bothered by, why are they so close together? Is it not the same? Why is it separate? He's not happy with the way that it reads. And you'll see the answer gives us a very nice, I think, a beautiful chidush. This chidush is going to be dedicated to Mr. Ralph Hoffman, our Kohen, that is in the room. Are there any other Kohanim in the room? Ralph, this is your zechut, B'ezrat Hashem. A complete refuah shlema. Amen. Amen. Listen to the following. He starts off and he brings a Gemara in Masechet Chulin, page 49. And the Gemara is right now discussing the fact that Kohanim bless the Jewish people. They were the elected special through birthright to bless Bnei Israel. Not only in the time of the Beit HaMikdash, but as we know nowadays, they still are the ones that bless the congregation. Us in our Sephardic community, once a day, every Shacharit. On Shabbat we're lucky, we get it even twice. But at least once a day we get our special blessing from the Kohen. So the Gemara now goes and is bothered. If the Kohanim are blessing us, Levites and Israelites, what about them? Are they not blessed? If they are only used to be the conduit of the blessing, to transmit the blessing to the rest of the nation, well, how are they blessed? And the Gemara says, it's a machloket from where we learn, and that's where we're going to get into, but that they are blessed as well. Since they bless the Jewish people, God blesses them. Okay, now from what pisukim, which words in the Torah do we learn it from? So I'll quote, Rabbi Ishmael says, in the psukim of the Birkat Kohanim, it says, Va'ani avarechem. What's that referring to? Right at the end of the brachot. V'samu et shemi al bnei Israel, va'ani avarechem. After the first three lines of the blessing, God says, I will put my name in the Jewish people and I will bless them. I will bless them, Rabbi Ishmael says, is going to tell us that he's blessing personally the Kohanim. Rabbi Akiva says no. That Vani Avarechem is just coming and saying that God is agreeing with the Kohanim and, so to say, answering Amen, and that let it be the will that when the Kohanim bless the Jewish people are blessed. So if he uses that for, now we're in the Gemara, right? If he uses that, Vani Avarechem, that it's God's stamp, well, how do the Kohanim themselves get blessed? How do they get blessed? They are blessed from this concept over here. Before that. V'ye beracha, you'll be blessed. Va'varechecha mivarecha, those who bless you will be blessed. What does that mean?
They get the blessing for blessing others.
There we go. But it goes further. That's pashut how you will read it. That's the simple explanation. However, the Zera Shimshon wants to give us a deeper insight into what Rabbi Akiva is really telling us. Rabbi Akiva is telling us as follows, that there is a rebound factor. Meaning, when you bless somebody, you will be blessed when they are blessed. And he brings proofs to this. He says, we know the famous Talmud that tells us that one who is praise for another, and they have the same need, they are first answered and blessed before the other. That means if you need a refuah shlema, and a specific one, what we're supposed to do, a big segula, good luck, good success, is to find someone who has the similar condition and start praying for them. Not don't pray for you. You need to pray for yourself. But start praying for them. And then what happens is God will hopefully answer both of you, but you'll be answered first. Because when you are praying for another, the Talmud says you'll be answered first. The Zera Shimshon says something so amazing, and it's kind of scary. He says, you will be blessed and answered only once that other person already got the okay that they will be granted whatever they are in need of. You understand? That means if someone needs now a refuah shlema on their right arm, and you found out you also needed a refuah shlema on your arm, and you go and pray for that individual, only once God has accepted, whether it's your tefillot or others' tefillot, it doesn't matter whose tefillot, that other person is going to be granted his refuah, that's when you will also be granted yours. But if, how would you know? But if that other, when I read this I read this over and over and over, and I looked it in the original text, and I was chewing it because it's contrary to what our hearts are telling us.
It's selflessness.
Yes, but we're gonna open the discussion at the end. But why is it this way? That's what we're gonna open up at. But the fact is, the Zera Shimshon says that when you pray for another, unless they are answered, it doesn't mean you're gonna be answered. He says you'll get reward for doing a chesed, for praying for another and acting in goodwill, but that you will be answered on account that meaning you could still be answered, but that you'll be answered faster because you prayed for someone else, unless they get their blessing and their prayers granted for that individual, you won't have it. And he proves it from the pasuk, because it says, V'yeh beracha, when will you have beracha? Va'varechecha mevarechecha. That when you bless others, the blessing will come back to you. But you need the other to be blessed for that blessing to rebound back to you. That's the first thing he says. That's what it sounds like. Okay? It sounds like. But wait, listen to this. That's exactly what he says. He says it's a two-way street. There's no hocus pocus that you start praying for somebody and boom, you're answered. That's probably the reason. The reason is because if you really, 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 really pray for the other person, they will be answered, and as an effect, you will be, and as a result, you will be answered as well. That's the first proof he gives. He gives another one. Another proof the Gemara quotes, Tosafot also quotes it, is that if a Gentile blesses a Jew, the Gentile will be blessed. The Zera Shimshon says, just for blessing
Not the Gentile.
Goy.
Good.
We're in recording, right?
You'll pay for that one. Comments.
If the Gentile blesses the Jew, he will be blessed. The Zera Shimshon said, Ma kesher? What does that have to do with anything? So you bless someone, you get blessed? He says, therefore it has to mean that when the Gentile blesses the Jew and it comes true, so too, that same blessing that he gave over and took effect and actually worked is able to rebound and bounce back and bless the Gentile. It's not any different than a Jew, by the way, just based on what we just said before.
It's a Kiddush Hashem.
So now let's go back to Kohanim. Fascinating, okay? On purpose, I left out, not to confuse you, the beginning of that Gemara, of the Kohanim, the machloket between, the contradiction between Rabbi Ishmael and Rabbi Akiva. From where do they learn that the Kohanim themselves are blessed? The beginning of the Gemara says that Misayea le Rabbi Ishmael, or really it says Ishmael kana la Kohanim. It says that Rabbi Ishmael, who was a Kohen himself, came and was helping the Kohanim. And then the Gemara goes into that whole, it just says that, and then it goes into that whole back and forth. Well, where are the Kohanim blessed from? Is it from Vani Avarechem or Vavarechecha Mivarechecha? From those that bless you, meaning, is it from the Parashat of Kohanim or is it from over here? So the Zera Shimshon asks, who cares where that's from? What does it have to do with anything? If it's from this one or from that one, what's the difference? Right? When we're learning Masechet Berachot, there's a difference if you learn it from here or learn it from there. In order, in Hebrew, not, yes. Do you need to hear yourself? Do you need a not? So there's a reason. And then he asks further, what is he coming to help the Kohanim with? Misayeh ale. He's coming to help the Kohanim by telling them that you learn it from Vani Varechem instead of Vani Varechem Varecha. Look at the Zera Shimshon's genius answer. He says that if you learn like Rabbi Akiva, that it's Vavarechecha Mivarechecha from Parashat Lech Lecha, that means only when the Kohen's blessing takes effect and actually works on the Levites and Israelites that he blesses, is when he himself will be re-blessed. We got that? But if you learn from Vani Avarechem, like Rabbi Ishmael, then what happens? Automatically, when they bless the rest of the Jewish population, before that blessing actually takes hold and they are given that reward and that blessing and that prayer is answered, they are automatically, instantly blessed. It comes out that the Kohanim are in a better position than us. Did we get it? Should I repeat it?
Yeah. There are two.
If you're saying, I'm repeating it because it's a little deeper. If you're saying like Rabbi Akiva, and you're learning from Vavarecha Varechecha, that goes based on the examples we just gave, that only once the blessing of the blesser takes effect is the blesser re-blessed. Good? Like when you pray for someone that's in a similar illness, and like when the Gentile blesses the Jew. So too, the Kohen, only when his blessing takes effect on the rest of the Jewish population is he re-blessed. But if you learn like Rabbi Ishmael, that it's from Vani Avarechem, it means instantly, at that moment when a Kohen blesses the Jewish people, whether that blessing that he has in mind, that he has the intention to bless the rest of the Jewish people, takes effect or not, or is answered or not in the positive, he's blessed with it.
In both cases,
So that, no, you're missing it.
oh, right.
Okay?
Let me say that.
Good. 1 second, Ralph, did you get it?
One is conditional, the other is not.
Very good, very good. According to Rabbi Akiva, the blessing a Kohen gives is conditional, just like any other time you pray for someone else or you bless someone else. That blessing comes back onto you only when it works for the other. That's Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Ishmael says no strings attached, unconditional. Once the blessing exits the Kohen's intention and mouth even, they get blessed back with that and more instantly, whether it works on the rest of the Jewish people or not. That's why the Talmud said, Misayeh le Rabbi Ishmael to the Kohanim. He was helping them because the way he learned it, it means that the Kohens are blessed unconditionally just by them standing up to bless the rest of the Jewish people.
He was helping.
Is that amazing?
He was helping the Kohen?
Was it too deep or did we get it?
No,
I got it.
What it was.
Joel,
How was he helping the Kohen?
Because Hashem's love is unconditional for his people.
what thing, did you get it?
I got it.
Ishmael,
100%.
that's what-
Ralph, did you get it?
One is a Tanai and one is not a Tanai.
Very good, but it comes out that according to the Ishmael, which it seems like, at least the way the Zera Shimshon is mustering this whole chidush up, is how he holds, is that when you get up and you bless us, any blessing you give us, whether it works or not, you have that blessing back to you. That's amazing. It's amazing. So it's and this proves to us the privilege it is to be a Kohen, that they are the selected few to stand up in front of the nation to bless the koach haberacha, koach hatefillah that Kohanim have. And this stems back to their very essence of being in creation, by them abstaining and refraining from serving the golden calf and replacing the place of the firstborn, and them assuming responsibility. Because they've assumed that responsibility, they are blessed with this unconditional blessing, according to the Zera Shimshon, according to the Ishmael in Masechet Chulin. So fascinating. Okay, I'll take a couple questions before we move on to the next one.
What is this? The Messiah, the Israel Ishmael Messiah, he was trying to help the Kohanim. How?
He was helping them.
How? Assisting them? With
Because if you learn according to him, they have an unconditional blessing when they bless. If you learn according to the Rabbi Akiva, that's from Vavarecha Varechecha, it's conditional.
What type of help he was giving them? Like helping them with the washing of the hands?
No. He was helping them to learn the pasuk,
Oh.
to learn the source that God blesses them, not from this one, but not from Vavarecha Varechecha, rather from Birkat Kohanim, which is unconditional.
And that's for only specifically for Kohanim.
Kohanim who get up to bless. Amazing. So now, we can, maybe together, we can try to make this even practical for us non-Kohanim. How do we do though?
Blessing the other guy.
But we said when we bless the other,
The Christians do it.
we said when we bless the other, it's only when the blessing works.
They always say Hashem. The other religion, they say Hashem bless. They say God bless you, God bless you. All
Right.
the time they say that.
Right.
We don't practice. We don't normally do that, right?
I don't know.
As a greeting, they'll do it 100 times a day. You know,
Why not?
as a
We say
greeting.
Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem.
Means peace, but it's also God's name. May God be
But this
God
is
be
the
on
way
you.
that's working with Tzedakah or Maaser. When you empty yourself in the good that you have in your side of you, or your property you have, like a Tzedakah, or giving yourself to do something, God need to pay you back with it because
Need to. Need to.
I mean, there's a hope.
Repeat that, Ronen.
God promises, ועשר תעשה למען תתעשר, נכון? He promised you. פתח לי חור של מאחד ונפתח פתחו של עולם.
Yeah.
Why he promised that? He promised that.
Okay. So listen, tzedakah is a unique mitzvah commandment that God said is the only one we're able to test Him on. Yes, but when it comes to blessing others, it's a completely different story. Tzedakah is something that we're able to test God on because you're really giving of yourself. Damim, money in Hebrew is also referred to as damim. Damim means blood. It's your flesh. It's yourself. When you give of yourself, it's the hardest. It's sometimes easier to give of your time than to give your money.
It's taking the shirt off your back.
It's literally taking what you worked, what you sweat for, and to give it to the needy, to give it for Torah study, to give it to someone who really needs help, to lend it to somebody, to build something, to buy something for someone. It's the hardest. And God knows that to be the hardest, and He gave a specific promise, and that's why we're able to test it. But again, I know, I'll be honest with you, it took me 3 nights to chew this concept over from the Zera Shimshon. Chew it over, maybe on Shabbat we'll discuss it again. Maybe we'll open it up even in Hebrew and we'll read it all inside together. But it's a hard concept because it's something we've never heard of. We've always heard of, yes, pray for something that your fellow needs, you need the same thing, you'll be answered first. The way the Zera Shimshon's learning Pashut Pshat in that Gemara is that you only have now the opportunity and the right to be answered first. But if it's not happening, there's no first. You understand? And therefore, what it means to us is ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love your fellow as yourself. Love your fellow as much as you would love your spouse, lo aleinu, who would have that issue, or your child, or your own parents. Pray for that person who has the same illness or sickness or hurt and void as you, as if it was you, as if it was your family member. If you do it genuinely, God will never turn it down. And then you will be answered first. That's the way, after really 3 nights of sleeping over it, that's the pshat I came out with. And it's not my pshat, it's Zera Shimshon.
Then it's more than kamocha.
Why?
It's more because you want the other person has to be healed first for you to be healed.
No. It goes like this. Let me see if I'm going to explain myself well. Let's say, again, right arm, Reuven and Shimon. Reuven finds out that Shimon's right arm is broken. He finds out, what he does is he prays with all his heart and all his might that Shimon will be healed. In Shamayim, again, this is all God's calculations. This is not us. This is not our accountant Ronen, who we love so much, and it's not myself. It's no one over here. Okay? What it is in Shamayim, God says, okay, Shimon now deserves a refuah. He deserves to be healed. But before his healing, actually, meaning it was decided he's going to get it, then Reuven gets his first, and then Shimon's comes right after. That's the way it works. That's the way the Zera Shimshon is saying it's working. It's fascinating. And I think the take-home message for us is love your fellow as yourself, love your fellow as your own family, pray for them, do for them as much as you would want for yourself, and then you will get it done first. This is his first Dvar Torah. Yeah.
Don't choose only one.
Don't choose one. Make many. Okay, let's move on. Second Dvar Torah of this week's Parashat. I think equally as fascinating, and I think there's a big lesson behind it as well. Let's just give a little bit of a background. Abraham and Sarah now are married for decades, no children. And they're getting a little down and depressed over it. Could imagine, even in modern society, after a couple years, a couple is already stressing and freaking out that they don't have kids. All the more so of a couple who, God forbid, has been 10 years without children. Devastating. But imagine a couple decades. And it's not anybody. We're talking the man and woman who God prophesies to that they will be blessed, that they will have a land that their children and descendants will live on. And it's not happening. Can you imagine what a letdown that is for Abraham? Leave his father's house, leave his town, leave his ways of belief, leave everything. Go to a foreign place. Go to a place where there's now a hunger, starvation. And this land of starvation will have your children and grandchildren, which you have none, to live on forevermore. He's left, as we say in Hebrew, bald on both sides. And therefore, what happened was Sarah, his wife, tells him, take my maidservant Hagar and marry her to have a son, build a family, at least through her.
Just so in the future we can keep it interesting.
Yeah. We're still paying for that.
Yeah.
But you're going to see how it was the greatest blessing for us. And I'm happy you brought that up, Joel. Okay? Listen to this. Let's continue. Let's try not to be interrupted. 1 second. Hagar and Abraham are married. First shot, Ishmael comes out. What happens? Hagar looks at Sarah and starts looking down at her.
She's the servant.
Okay? I'm going to fast forward on purpose and then go back because that's the way Zera Shimshon does it, and I think it magnifies the question. Fast forward to they're kicked out, and Hagar now was holding her son Ishmael, who is dying of starvation and dehydration in the desert, puts him aside, moves away, and cries out to God. And then, the famous episode, God's angel answers her, tells her, don't worry, it will all be fine. However, Vehu yeh pere adam, yado bakol v'yad kol bo. He will be a wild child. He will have his hands in everything. He will get into trouble with everything. he will steal, he will kill, he will corrupt, he will do bad. But he'll be okay.
Yeah. They're my neighbors.
The Zera Shimshon,
Allah.
the Zera Shimshon says, what is the angel thinking telling a woman who her only child is dying after being kicked out by her husband or her master or both, however you want to look at it? You'll be fine, but this child's going to bring you nothing but trouble. What place does the angel have to do that? It's like if someone's bleeding, stepping on their wound, adding fuel to the fire, putting salt on the wound. Did I give you enough examples?
The Malach doesn't have an opinion. He's there to do a job.
Oh, very good. So that means he had an intention by doing that.
If that's what Hashem wanted, he repeated it verbatim.
Exactly. That was God's will. So why was that God's will is the Zera Shimshon's question. So he brings down the Shach. The Shach normally, Siftei Kohen, is most notably known for his commentary on the Shulchan Aruch, the section of Yoreh De'ah, the second section of the Shulchan Aruch. He writes a very deep and practical authority and commentary on the Shulchan Aruch. And he writes that at the moment that Hagar, got pregnant, she started looking down at Sarah and she started saying in her mind, this righteous woman, this tzadeket, it's all a show. She was saying it cannot be that God is withholding her for decades from having a son, and me on the first night, I have a baby boy. Doesn't make sense. She said she must not be for real. She must not act so righteous behind closed doors. So she started thinking about Sarai Menu. We're talking Sarai Menu. We're not talking anybody else. And therefore the Shach explains, God intentionally made sure that Abraham and Sarah would not have a child together as the first offspring of Abraham, rather make sure to have another before, so that all of Abraham's impurities from his father and his father's home, his background, go to that guy. Let all the curses, let all the evil, let all the bad go to one kid in order that the other one will be pure and have that blessing on this everlasting land and receive the Torah. And the Shach said, that's why Sarah did not get pregnant right away. And that's why God told Sarah, he told Avram, Kol Asher. By the way, this is my most famous pasuk. My wife always reminds me, especially since her name is Sarah. Kol Asher Tomar Lecha Sarah Shma Bekola. Anything your wife Sarah, and to me that's the strongest, my wife's name is Sarah. Anything your wife Sarah says, listen to her. Your wife's also Sarah.
Yeah, but you're not Abraham.
But I'm not Abraham, right? God said, whatever she says, listen. He didn't tell him why. If you had told him why, then it takes away the free will. God had a master plan. God made sure, make sure that one child comes out from someone else. Let the garbage, let the curse, let the past go in there and start anew. And therefore comes back now the Zera Shimshon and says, that the angel was responding to Hagar's misbehavior. What was her misbehavior? She was disgracing, disrespecting, looking down at her mistress, at Sarai Imenu. And by doing that, she always had this thought in her mind, she's not so pure, she's not so righteous. So at the moment when the angel had its first opportunity to speak to her and tell her he'll be fine, Ishmael will survive. But he gave her an answer to that question that was bothering her forever. Why did she get pregnant before her? Why did Hagar get pregnant before Sarah? And that's why the angel came and said, go back, be subservient to your righteous mistress, because she is a tzadeket. But you know what? Your child is wild, and God intended for all of that to go on to this child, this cursed child, and make sure that Isaac, when he comes to being, will be completely pure, holy, and successful. So what the angel was doing, the Zera Shimshon is explaining, is he wasn't putting Hagar down. He was answering her for the disrespect, the way she was acting. And what's the lesson for all of us, gentlemen? Is that sometimes we see a tzaddik. Sometimes we see even someone who is not fully pious, maybe even partly, and we judge them. And we say, hey, if he got into a car accident, if he lost his business, if something bad happened to his son, something bad happened to that person, he deserves it. He's not that righteous after all. What did the angel come and tell Hagar? What did the angel come and tell us? God knows exactly why certain things happen to certain individuals, and don't ever discount or disrespect or discard somebody and put them on a lower level and judge them negatively because something happened to them. This was what the angel was coming to do to Hagar. Not to put salt on the wound. He was coming to answer her. Answer her for her disrespect that she had towards Sarai Menu. And that's powerful. That's so profound that the Zera Shimshon thinks of it.
So how do we deal with them today? I mean, are they so impure completely, like they have no redemption?
Well, to that Joel said, well, look what they brought to the world. But as hard as it is, and as sad as it is, and as horrible as the Ishmaelites are to the world, however, we have to know, like Ronen says, they are the balance, but we have to say, thank God that they're around, and the curse and the evil is by them and not by us and our families and our children.
They make us look good.
They make us look good. Joel. Yes.
רבי, עכשיו חזרת למברכך מברכם.
ואברכך מברכך.
כן, עכשיו חזרת לזה.
איך?
בגלל ששרה ראתה שאין לה ילדים, אז היא הקריבה את עצמה לתת לו את המשרתת שלה.
Yes.
אז היא, בגלל שהיא הקריבה את עצמה,
Nice.
אז הקדוש ברוך הוא...
Nice. Chachamim, right, the Chazal more make the juxtaposition between Avimelech and Avram and Sarah, that whole episode, which we don't have time now to get into, why Sarah became, got blessed with having a child. We're not going to get into that now, but yes, we did come back to it. I want to end off with a story that's brought down here in the book. That the major question... Yeah, you have a question? This is after the Zera Shimshon.
Okay, no. My question was why Abraham, after all of this, came and married back Hagar.
That's a good question.
She had done teshuvah, but Rashi says that she had become
Ishmael
did
teshuvah.
No, Rashi says her name was Keturah because she was like Keturah. She had done teshuvah. That's what Rashi says.
Oh yeah. They could answer the question black on white. Very good.
Yeah, sorry for...
No, good. It didn't come to me. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, just to repeat that. Moises asked an amazing question. He said, 1 second, if Hagar was the one that the curse should be through her and her descendants, so why did Abraham take her back as a wife and had more children with her? Well, that's a different story. Lemaisa, he's cursed. At the end of the day, he's cursed. So he's asking, why did he take her back? Why did he have more children with him? Are those all cursed as well? So the answer is that remind you, Moshe ben Avram gave a beautiful answer that Hagar's name was actually changed to Keturah, and as Rashi, I remember now, Rashi on that pasuk says that she did do teshuvah, she was exalted, she believed in what the angel rebuked her on, and acted properly, we don't see any more, not the Midrashim, not even the Torah, that says that she came back and disrespected Sarah. She learned her lesson. So on the opposite, she did teshuvah. Now when we see by the inheritance of Abraham Avinu, everything went to Yitzchak, and they were only given gifts, all the other ones. Because that was his main.
Are they the Buddhists? The people?
But there's two episodes with
I couldn't say yes, I couldn't say no.
There's two episodes with Hagar. The first one, when Sarah, she said Hekel Beinea, she was pregnant.
Hagar was pregnant, and Sarah was...
She tortured her,
Yeah.
and Hagar left.
Yeah.
And then go back.
Yes.
In the second episode, Ishmael היה מצחק.
Yes.
That's it. You're gonna go now.
Yes.
So there's two episodes here with Hagar.
But it seems that she has done teshuvah after the angel of God actually revealed himself to her. And that would answer your question. Great question, great answer. Chazak. That's the beauty of learning in a group. Okay, quickly the question, not the question, the story. The story is a question asked: why are women obligated as men exactly in every detail of Passover? Meaning, not only we know the simple answer that the same way like they're not allowed to have chametz during the during Pesach. So since they're not allowed to have chametz, they have to have matzah. But women, when it comes to Pesach, a big deal is made that they are to fulfill everything the same stringencies in the same ways as men are. As we see by Sukkot, not so. By Shavuot, not so. By every holiday, at least from the Torah, not so. We see by Purim, yes, there was Esther. We see Yehudit by Chanukah. But in the Torah obligation holidays, we see that Pesach there's an extra emphasis on. And... right, but they were by all the Nisim. They were by the Sukkah, they were by Matan Torah.
This was
Zman Cherutenu. But still, there's something else going on. So he gives here a story, a very sad story of the Belzer Rebbe's Gabai. The Belzer Rebbe's right-hand man, his helper, passed away. And can you imagine in Yerushalayim, everyone that's coming to pay their condolences, everyone looks rabbinic, everybody black and white, big beard, big fur hat, right? Like all your family, Joel.
Not on Shabbat.
Okay. And they come, and then one individual came in. This guy looked different. He was wearing a colored shirt. Like that would be the worst thing, right? He was wearing a colored shirt. He was wearing a colorful kippah. And he came in, and he was a little of an elder man, not so old. Yes, very well, could be, anyways. And he came in, and he sat down, and he started listening, and then finally the family struck up a conversation with him and asked him, what are you doing here? Yeah, you seem a little out of place, right? They didn't say it that way, obviously. They asked him what he was doing here, what was his shaychut, what was his connection to the deceased. And the man went on to describe how the deceased, the Gabai of the Belzer Rebbe, and himself were both Holocaust survivors. And he remembers that in the concentration camps, as a teenager, he was literally dying of starvation. He was so hungry. Every single day he was getting a wilted piece of bread, and his skeletons were just becoming more apparent, and he was really, really suffering. Until he figured out, and he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to escape, and I'm going to go find a garbage dump, and I'm going to try to see if there's any leftover food there. Anything. He would eat anything. The first day he went to the garbage dump, searching and searching and searching, and he had no strength to even search and to go through it. And he found nothing. He returned back. The next day, the same thing, searching, and he almost fainted of exhaustion, trying to fish through for some food in the garbage. Nothing. The third day he went back, he almost passed out. It smelled so bad and he was so weak. Nothing. The fourth day he went. He said, this is the last day. If this is not, I'm just going to leave myself in the garbage and finished. I can't. Nothing to eat. He was searching in the garbage, and all of a sudden he hears a voice. Someone saying, my brother, do you think you're going to find some food in the garbage? Do you know how many times I've checked over here? And he came over to him and he gave him a big hug. I told him, my brother, you're strong. You can do this. Don't let them beat us. You'll survive. The teenager, the boy, said, as saying this over to the family, that was the deceased, the Belzer Rebbe's Gabbai, who was equally weak and tired and living through the hardship. Made him feel warm, made him feel good. And he said at that very moment, his hunger was suppressed. He felt full again, just from feeling the warmth from the other in the time of being destitute and sad and poor and hungry. That warmth gave him courage to continue, and they both survived.
Wow. The words, just the words.
Just the words, just a hug, just encouraging somebody. And to that true story, the author tells us, Rabbi Nachman Seltzer, who's the author of the stories in this book, he says, to that is the answer why the women have equal, if not equal. We know, Chachamim tell us that it was in merit of the women that the Jewish people were taken out of and redeemed from Egypt. Why to their merit? Who had a harder time? The men did. The men were all day in working. They were slaving. It was hard. The women definitely had much hardship. But the men had the physical burden. They were tormented. It was crazy. But it was in their merit. Listen to what the answer is. Because when they came home at night, as hard as the situation was, the women made them feel happy. They made them feel warm. The Midrash tells us they used to dress up in whatever nice clothes they had and greet them in the fields and had them come. As we know, having children was not allowed. They had children, they gave birth, all of that took place in the fields. They went the extra mile to show the warmth and the love and the encouragement for the women to the men. God blessed them. God said it was in their merit. God said they're the ones who made everything happen because they gave the warmth. They gave the encouragement. It's something so important for us to know that we rely on our wives. Our wives are our rock. They are the ones who give us strength. Give us what? They're boulders. Ralph Hoffman, Gila, when you listen. There are boulders. They're our support system. They are everything. All of our merit is their merit. So what does that mean? Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Don't beat the rock that supports you. Praise her, bless her, pray for her, respect her. I'm speaking to myself as well. We always need that extra push. If you do for them, they'll do for you, and it will be in their merit that we'll be successful. They'll give us the warmth. They'll help us and form us and put us on that path for success. B'ezrat Hashem, the merit of the Zera Shimshon, of learning his holy Torah and his amazing Hidushim, sparked the conversation and the stories and everything else that surrounds the participation in these shiurim should be as a merit, Leilu Nishmato, again, Rabbi Shimshon Chaim Nachmani, as well as we just passed today, Chacham Ovadia Yosef's, as well, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, that both of their neshamot will be at the highest and loftiest places in Shamayim, as we know it already is, and they'll look down at us and beseech God to show favor on us, B'ezrat Hashem, and that B'ezrat Hashem, we know that we have this class weekly. Normally it's Wednesday nights. This Wednesday night we have Rabbi Yigal Cohen coming, famous rabbi from Eretz Yisrael. It will be in the big synagogue. So that's why we moved it to Monday night. But so we know every B'ezrat Hashem Bli Neder, every Wednesday night we're going to learn the holy words of the Zera Shimshon. and we invite everyone to come. Bezat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen. Amen. Rabbi Chaim Raksha Omer.